Hi, I'm Laura, a fourth year medical student, and today's video is all about Ucat preparation. So what is the Ucat? The Ucat, or University Clinical Aptitude Test, makes up one of the three components for selection into medical school. For a bit more of a general overview, there's 5 different sections. It's a 2-hour, time-restricted, computer-based exam that assesses different aspects of your cognition. Section 1, verbal reasoning, lasts for 21 minutes and there's 44 questions. Essentially, you're presented with different text passages, which you then have to draw conclusions from and answer questions about. These take the forms of best response multiple choice questions or true, false or can't tell options. Section 2 is decision making, which lasts for 31 minutes and there's 29 questions. Essentially, you're applying logic to analyse a stimulus. Questions are multiple choice and will be either correct answer or yes or no, and they'll generally involve charts, text, tables or graphs. Section 3 is quantitative reasoning. It lasts for 24 minutes and there's 36 questions. This section will require you to evaluate data in numerical form, and the questions will be based on tables, ratios, percentages or averages. Section 4 is abstract reasoning. It lasts for 13 minutes and there's 55 questions, and you'll be assessing imagery patterns. Questions are multiple choice and we'll be asking next in sequence, this is to that, and does this belong in set A, set B or neither. The final section, section 5, is situational judgment. It lasts for 26 minutes and there are 69 questions. This section requires you to respond to real-world scenarios and ethical issues. The multiple choice answers take the form of rate the appropriateness of this response. So those are the 5 domains. In terms of scoring, it will be between 300 and 900 for each domain. They then add the scores from the first 4 sections to give you a total score of up to 3,600, with situational judgment remaining separate. A good way to think of situational judgment is it's more of an opt-out rather than an opt-in score. So unless you score quite low, the selection process generally takes into account your overall score. In terms of average scores, for verbal reasoning, 587, decision making 623, quantitative reasoning 679, abstract reasoning 649, and situational judgment 581. Okay, so that is the Ucat in a nutshell, but can we prepare for it? Is it necessary? How do we prepare for it? Yes, it's absolutely necessary. My brother has just enrolled in first year medicine. On his first practice test, he scored within the 40th percentile. After 12 months of preparing and in the real Ucat, he scored in the high 90th percentile. Now, this might be a little bit controversial, but I would highly recommend purchasing a preparation course. They can be expensive, but the way that I see it is it's an investment in your future. My medical admissions test was a few years back now. I did a preparation course through MedEntry. I'd heard some reviews that said it was good, and honestly it was, and I loved it. I just want to preface this little spiel by saying that they are not sponsoring this video. These are all of my own opinions, but they have given me a discount code which is linked in the description below. So I thought everything about the MedEntry course was great. They even had in-person strategy days, so I was able to meet other people going through the process at the same time, exchange contact details, make friends, and just have people to talk to about it. I personally used their online package, as did my brother last year, and thought it was very well worth it. They do also offer an online package which is significantly cheaper. It doesn't have quite the same range of tools available to you, but it's still definitely a good place to go to prepare if you're not able to afford the more expensive package. I haven't heard that spending the extra money on their more expensive packages is necessarily worth it. They do offer personal coaching, but I don't have any experience with that, and personally I probably wouldn't recommend it. I think the Platinum package will give you everything you need to succeed. In terms of what it does actually give you is access to their learners portal, which has unlimited questions for every subtest, and also access to their learning guides. So a learning guide will break down each subtest. It will tell you each type of question they can ask in that subtest, and also give you strategies on how to answer each of those type of questions. In addition to this, there'll be activities in there to do along the way as well. In terms of a timeline on when to start preparing, I would say give yourself at least 6 months. You can do it in less time, but it will be quite intense. I think if you start 6 to 12 months before the test, make up a study timetable, allocate an hour a day to med-entry, and then every couple of weeks I would recommend doing one of their full-length practice tests. I think it's really important to note that preparing for the Ucat is more than just practicing questions. In order to score well, there are certain skills that you'll need to learn. So a quick example for each of the sections. In verbal reasoning, you'll need to learn how to speed read. In quantitative reasoning, mental maths would be very helpful. For decision making, you should spend some time learning how to interpret graphs. And for all of the subtests, you'll need to learn how to time manage and identify keywords. And that's why I'd say give yourself about 6 months, because it does actually take time to develop these skills. Further on from this, you'll also need to develop strategies for each of the sections and different types of questions within those sections. You can come up with your own strategies, but prep courses like med-entry have already curated all of that information for you, making it really easy, which is why I think you should check them out. And like I said before, there's a link in the description below. If you're watching this video and are going to sit the Ucat and haven't started preparing yet, my number one piece of advice would be start now. It's so easy to put off starting preparation, but each day you procrastinate, the Ucat gets closer, and the people that haven't put off preparation are getting better and better. If you have started preparing, before you go doing thousands of practice questions, I'd recommend that you make up or learn some strategies. In addition, make sure that any practice questions you are doing are under timed conditions. Now, this is hard, and you will get 0 out of 5 and you will fail and it will suck at the beginning. But the whole point of the Ucat is thinking under time pressure, because that's a skill that they need in doctors. It would actually be quite easy to get close to 100% in the Ucat if you had all day to do it, but you don't. You have 2 hours. So you need to exercise those parts of your brain that will help you get a good score on the day. Another point I'd like to make is that you need to be okay with accepting failure. You won't get 100% on the Ucat. No one ever has, and probably no one ever will. Now, this can be quite difficult for the types of personalities that are trying for medicine. Generally high achieving, used to getting high 90s to 100% in tests and assignments. So scale back your expectations if you're results driven, or you'll find this process really difficult. I guess going along with that, spending time stressing or feeling anxious about your potential score isn't productive. So just harness those emotions and get in there and practice. While you are practicing, focus on your weaknesses. You'll find that 1 or 2 of the subtests seem to come quite easily to you, but don't fall into the cycle of just doing those questions because you get them right and it feels good. Work on your weakest subtest, turn it into your best, and then repeat that process. That being said, come testing day, play on your strengths. Recognize difficult questions in the subtests that you're not as sure on, blindly guess them, and move on. It's all about resilience and having the ability just to let go. My final piece of advice is to book in your Ucat test as soon as possible. Once you have your time slot booked, go ahead and complete your practice tests each fortnight at that time. If your Ucat is at 4 p.m, do your practice tests at 4 p.m. It's no use preparing for a test at 8 a.m. because the conditions on the day will be completely different. Okay, so that sums up my advice on Ucat preparation. If you have any specific questions, please comment them down below or feel free to message me on Instagram. I reply to everyone. If you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget that I do have a 10% discount code for med-entry in the description below. As for now, have a great afternoon, good luck with your preparations, and I'll see you in the next video.